Hello, Sparky. Indian Head Valley Railroad. Hello, welcome. All right, guys, we're going to get started in a few minutes. Waiting for some more people to come in here. But the clinic will be on basic scenery. Hello, Ron. Hello, BNSF 1982. All right, guys. So basically, what I decided to do today is basic scenery. There's lots of different ways to do it. I'm not an expert, but I will tell you the way I do it works pretty well. So there's many ways of doing scenery. This is just a way. So why don't we get started? But what I want to do, I figured since we're all model railroaders, it'll be a cool thing to um, do some trackside scenery. But in order to do trackside, we need to weather some rail. So I'm going to show you a really quick way to weather some rail. Let me just grab one thing. I'll be right back. Hello, Vinny. Okay, so this is a piece of track that I had that was replaced on the layout. So now it's a test piece of track. Um, Back when I first started my railroad, you were able to get float wheel in aerosol cans. Now that float wheel is no more, you can't get this color anymore. This is called rail brown. So before I even get started, if you're basically starting on your railroad for the first time, here's a substitute. You want to start with a base color. So since you cannot get rail brown anymore, you can use this. The Rust-Oleum Camouflage. You want to get earth brown. All right, so that's a good substitute to use. But if you're using this stuff indoors, make sure it's well ventilated or wear a mask. All right, so let's get started. So if you look at rail, whether you're modeling present day or back in the 50s like I do, it's pretty much the rail looks the same. You're looking at browns and grays and all types of different colors. So first thing you want to do, or first thing I suggest, is get a little burnt umber craft paint. And what we're going to do is we're just going to dry brush. Real simple process. I'm going to try to monitor the chat as best I can. And if you want to know what dry brushing is, who those who don't know, you're basically loading up the brush with paint and then taking most of it away. All right. So then when you want to dry brush, you just basically randomly painting, dry brushing the ties. Now, if you get a little on the rail, that's fine. Not a big deal. We're going to get to the scenery very shortly here. But I figured everyone would enjoy how to weather some rail. There's 16 people in here. It's pretty good. So I appreciate Vinny. Thanks for giving me a shout out. Appreciate that. This is actually the most I've ever had in a live stream, which is pretty cool. So I'm up to 17. So for those who are just joining, I'm weathering some rail or some ties first before we do the scenery. Okay. So now that it's hard to see it, but that's the burnt umber. All right, so now we're going to go in with a different brown. So we'll go in there with regular brown. When you take a look at colors, there's different shades of browns and stuff. So I appreciate the likes so far, guys. Again, you just create an illusion that you're trying to make plastic look like real wood. All right, and you notice I didn't clean my brush, so I'm using the same brush. So that's the next color, that's the brown. All right, now what you can do, let me get a clean brush now. I'll let that dry for a second. Let's see, what do I got for brushes here? I don't buy expensive brushes. I go to Michael's and buy a $10 pack. You get a whole bunch of them. So you don't have to buy real expensive brushes. So now I'm going to go with a gray. And the whole purpose of this gray is just to highlight. Believe it or not, there's still too much on the brush. And again, you just want to lightly hit the rails. I figured by adding this part to the clinic tonight, or the live stream, weathering ties, I think it's a nice addition to scenery. Okay, so just to recap, we used burnt umber first. We started with a track that was already painted. So you can go, if you have real brown, that's great. If you don't, you can use the Rust-Oleum earth brown. Then we went over it with a brown. And now we're gonna just touch it up with a gray. So let's see what it looks like now. Let me know your thoughts. Hey Joey, I'm using regular Craftsmart gray, no frills. You know, you don't have to spend a lot of money. That noise you hear is my furnace going on, so sorry about that. All right, so there it is. Now, one also thing you can do is you can take a little raw sienna. Now, what the raw sienna is going to do, if you notice when you go to a train station, catch a train, if you notice that the ties have a real, like a rust right on the tie plates. Now you can also use weathering powders as well. That will work. But for this purpose, all you want to do is hit the tie plates. And use a smaller brush, obviously. And just randomly hit them. And if you get a little on the ties, that's fine, because the rust always bleeds over onto the ties. You can do random or you can do them all. Entirely up to you. Uh-oh, I'm losing people. Okay. So take a look at that now. Let's see if I can. So that's pretty much weathering track in a nutshell. If you're weathering flex track. So again, this is just a way to do it. There's a couple other ways to weather it, but you can go back over this with powders. All right, because then powders will add a little bit more realistic effects to it. All right. So the next thing we want to do is get ready for ground cover. So I'm going to use a couple different things of ground cover, but the first one I'm going to use is from Scenic Express. Yes, this is how I'm doing my layout. I'm starting to weather my track now, and it's pretty realistic. It's hard to see on the actual camera, but it dries pretty well. All right, so first thing I'm going to start with is this medium soil. You can get this from Scenic Express. The number on this is SE0413. These are about $10 for a 32 ounce or a quart. So I put a piece of tape here because that's as far as I'm going to go with the scenery, and I'm just going to put it on this side. But I'm going to show you a way to do it. The AIM powders work pretty well. I also use Bragdon powders. So Bragdon powders will work. In fact, let me get my Bragdon powders. I'll show you. Hold on a second. Give me 1 second. Okay. So here's my set of Bragdon powders that I use. I use this on the scenery, and I also use it on my Craftsman kit builds. Let's see. Why don't we do this rust here? We're going to use a light rust. The powders actually will show up a little bit more. I'm going to exaggerate the rust on this for now so you can see it. And then you can also work it in too. All right, now you will get rust. If you look at real track, you will get rust deposits that are heavier than others. So there's using the weathering the tie plates with the Bragdon powders. All right. Okay, so let's get to some scenery. Uh-oh, I got 11 people in here. Where's everybody going? Vinny, where are they all going? All right. So this is how I do scenery. You're going to use paint as a glue for now. Yeah, I thought so too, but that's okay. I appreciate who's here. Okay. So this you're not going to dry brush. All right. So you're going to want to paint. Put your paint on. And stay about maybe a 1/16 to an 1/8 away from the track if you can. So I'm going to do a small section to show you. Okay. So then you're going to take a plastic spoon. And what you want to do is just tap it. Believe it or not, this stuff will go a long way. The ballast should be the last thing you put on. You should do your ground cover first, because the ground is there before the track. Okay, let's continue on. So we'll do this side next. Oh, do you? It's a cool technique. Works pretty well. Good point, Sparky. Actually, my track has been down since 2009, so I'm pretty good. So I'm ready. I am ready for my scenery on the layout. All right, so I need more paint. Now, as far as colors of the paint you want to use underneath, you can use pretty much any paint. I like to go with a brown or earth color tone. You can go to like Home Depot and stuff and get maybe paint that was returned, or your local hardware store, and get some paint that was returned. You get a really super deal on it. Now, as I'm painting, I'm going to talk to you guys about layering. And a quart for $2, that's cool. When we talk about layering, and what I mean by that is when you go outside and look at scenery, just like the video I shot up in Cape Cod, if you look at all the different colors that you saw on the rail trail there, I mean, there's dozens and dozens of shades of colors and stuff like that. So if you use 6 types of scenery in the past, go for 12. If you use 12, try 24. Try to double what you use. It really will make your scene pop, and it will really bring your scene to life. When you add variety, it really makes the difference. Okay, so now I don't need to paint anymore. And let me get this out of here before I put my hand in it accidentally. I'm going to go clean my brush really quick, so I'll be right back. Okay. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over it with a different type of dirt. I'm going to use this one here, Scenic Express SE0403. Okay, so this is going to be the fine soil from Scenic Express. I bought this 5 years ago and I'm still using it. So and again, you just want to hello, Eric. So when you add that, it's going to be a little different. Now keep in mind, the paint underneath this is drying and it's securing some of the material in, but we're going to go over it with some more glue. Okay, so that's that. Let's see what else I got. All right. Next thing I'm going to use is Woodland Scenics Fine Turf Burnt Grass, number T1344. And this is going to be very random. Basically, wherever it falls, it falls. I'm about 8 inches above the diorama here, so that's why you don't see the spoon. Oh, there you go, you see it now. Now, in addition to scenery, you could put trackside details on here as well, such as tires or barrels or old ties. Okay. So Joey's saying take pictures of the prototype that you're modeling, gives you an idea of the track work. Which would be different from north to south. Very true. So if you're modeling Florida, Florida is not going to be the same as modeling I'm sorry, I started using another product here. I didn't tell you which one I had. Fine Turf Soil, number T1341. For those who are taking notes. Whoop. That's okay. And last but not least, I'm gonna put a little light green. I'm gonna try the Summer Lawn Blend EX881B from Scenic Express. We'll see how that looks. Just do a little bit, and then I'll show you what I use to secure this. Alright, so we used 2 types of soils, 2 types of fine turfs, and a Scenic Express flock and turf. So we got 5 different colors here right now. So that's not bad for a start. Alright. Okay, let me try to catch up on some of my chat here. Ron, is that like the super leaf material they have? It's a little different. It's more finer than the super leaf. I know it's the stuff you're talking about. It's not exactly like the Woodland Scenics foam, but it's a little different. Okay. So it's very fine. Let me see if I can get a little on the spoon just to show you, Spark. And I saw what you said, Joe. I'm not ignoring you. Yeah, it's a little different, Spark. It's a totally different material. It's really nice. And they got different shades. So if you ever go up to Springfield again, you know, check out Scenic Express. I usually spend quite a bit there every year to add to my collection of scenery materials. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you how to lock this down. Oh, good. We'll stop over section 12 and see me. I'll look for you. Okay, so what I want to do is just want to clean the track off of the material because I don't want the glue to lock this down on the track, so I'll just brush it away. Because remember, all this is going to be ballasted. Okay. All right. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is use 91% alcohol. And basically what I'm going to do, if I put regular glue on this, the glue would actually bubble up. So you want to cut the surface tension. Some people use wet water. I don't know if I remember if I actually used wet water before, but this is actually the way that a friend of mine taught me how to do it, and it's been working for me. So you can use a pipette, or you can use a little eyedropper. You get them at CVS. And you want to start saturating the area. Now, if you want to add more colors, that's fine. I'm going to show you something else on this that you're going to really like after I'm done. Yep, you can do that too. There's different ways of doing it. You got to be careful with the spray bottles only because you can actually mist away your scenery materials. This kind of keeps it all in one spot. Hope everybody's enjoying the live stream tonight on scenery. It's nice that, you know, somebody took the time to show me way back when, so it's kind of time to pay it forward and show somebody else. That's what the hobby's all about. Okay. Now I'm going to use a matte medium from Scenic Express. It's like an advertisement for Scenic Express, but what can I say? They make really good stuff. So remember what I said, how many materials we used? We used 5 so far. Yep, those work too. Turkey basers work, and also the little ones that you get. I actually have a bunch left over from when my kids were born. I grabbed a bunch from the hospital, the little ones for the ears. Those work good too. Okay. So now you're going to take your matte medium. Just drip it in. Now, do you see the milky... Yep, you can do dish soap and water too. Absolutely, Joey. Thank you for that. If you see the amount of glue I'm putting down, you see it's kind of like milky here. That's as much as you need. That's it. You don't need a whole ton of it. And when this stuff dries, this matte medium stuff, it's great because it will lock it in place. And when you're doing scenery on your layout, you kind of want to do small sections like this and then move on to the next. Okay. So that's all set. Yep, you can use white glue too. From what I heard, school glue doesn't work. I don't know what other people have heard, but school glue does not work for some reason. I've seen a lot of people use 50-50 mix of white glue. Aha. Yeah, get the Elmer's glue if you don't want to spend the money on the prepared stuff. You can get the other. You can use regular Elmer's white glue. Correct. Okay. This stuff is setting up pretty good. Okay. All set. Clean up here. This stuff just dries clear. It doesn't dry. It doesn't dry cloudy or anything. Medium, it works. All right. Vinny, have a good night. Thank you again for giving me a shout out. Appreciate it. Okay, guys, I'll be right back. Just gotta get rid of some things here. Give me 1 minute. All right, so the next thing on the list is some more scenery material. We're still going to do it with this glue being wet, so we're going to switch glues though, and I'll show you what I'm going to use. So let me get set up. Give me 1 second. All right, so we're going to start on this side with some more scenery material. So I'm going to show you the different things we're going to use now. So let's use this. So we're going to have 3 more materials on this now. So now we're going to be up to 8. Okay. So I don't know if anyone has seen these before. These are called Silfor. All right, there's all different types. So for this application, we're going to use 73792, which is a summer buffalo grass. We're going to use 72723, which is a long, tough, late summer. You can mix up the colors, it's okay. And then what I like to throw in there is because sometimes you have dead grass amongst the really good grass. I like to use these. The Long Tufts Autumn 72724S. This is what they look like. All right. So what we're going to do with these is we're going to place these more closer to the track, because if a train is coming past with the weed sprayer, you're going to get the grass that's dead right near the tracks. So but before we put those on, the glue we're going to use is called Canopy Glue. It's really good glue, and you're going to need a good pair of tweezers as well when you're working with these things. Okay. Why don't we start with these autumn pieces first? So what you do is they're stuck to this piece of paper. What you do is you grab them, pull them off, just a touch of glue underneath. And that could be actually a little bit too much glue. So you just take a little bit off and you just place them. Again, you pull them off. Just need a little bit of glue. And place them right in the scenery. And it's going to be random where you put them. Doesn't really matter. Okay. This is like watching paint dry, isn't it? Okay, and I'll put a couple more over here. We'll call this one done for this color. All right. So next one you grab any other color you want, but we're going to use the buffalo grass now. The buffalo grass, just so you know, this package is $26.99. Oh, thank you, Weber. I'll show you how these come. These come in a big. Okay, they come in a big sheet just like this. You can actually put them right next to the dead ones. It's fine. You look at the prototype, it looks just like that. So, depending on where you model. I mean, you can add gravel or anything you want here. It's for some more scenery materials. There we go. I'm going to show you something cool. Somehow, some way, I found a casting that I weathered. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it down. And then I'm going to put some grass around it. 1 second. So if you're gluing castings down, here's another tip. You gotta change glues again. Tacky glue, Aleene's tacky glue, or you can use Well Bond glue. Tacky glue is on my bench, so that's what I grabbed. So you can put a barrel right here. Oh, thank you, sir. So now we got a barrel. And just say that barrel's been there for a while, so let's put some grass around it.